Right, fishing rough ground for whiting. This was a fishing trip I'd done not too long ago. Yeah, there's lots of whiting around at the minute on the east coast, and you don't need any flash expensive bait to get them. Just some like mackerel or some squid will get them. There's so many. That's it's unbelievable. They're just you know, get them every cast. But anyway, I decided to focus on a bit of rough ground just to see if there's any codling on it. But there probably is, but the whiting are beating me to it. But anyway, this is just a video just to talk about what rig I was using, what setup I use, and this is the basic setup I use. £12 break off link. This is a little diagram of that. You can pause that so you can see it properly. And I use an inverted genie clip to clip on the lead, and then the breakaway line, and then I literally just attach a single hook higher up the trace, something like 2.0 for whiting. You just clip it on, so you just invert that around, clip on your lead to it, so it'll take the shock of the cast. And I prefer to use quite a long beach cast with braid, and I'll tell you why, because when it's tight in the bottom, you've got a nice long rod to try and yank it out. But I don't cast too far as well. I find if you cast too far, I find it gets snagged up. And a lot of fish like bass and stuff are in quite close anyway. I'm trying 20-30 yards is all you need when you're fishing on rough ground. Anyway, so the bait I'm using is squid. And this is a typical whiting we're getting at the minute. On that rig, like I say, it's about 2.0 hook, something like that. And I've got some nice some whiting there. And one's in size, you can fill them off, and you know, they're part of the cod family, they're pretty reasonable. So yeah, that's the rig. That's just normal monofilament, £12 line, £10 line, whatever you want really. And more often than not, you do get it back. But I was finding with the braid, because that's not actually a fixed lead, I find it was easy just to hold the rod, and on the braid you can feel all the bites, and just a little strike just to set the hooks. I've got, you notice there, I've got a just a single rod rest there. I think it's an Ian Gold's one or whatever. And the reason why I take that is because I'm just fishing one rod. There's no point carrying a big tripod. Go as light as you can. So you notice the conditions are quite favourable to fish this setup. This with the wind's coming over my shoulders. If this was an onshore wind, you're really going to struggle to do it. So certain conditions, you can fish this way, and you know. But yeah, like I say, the main purpose of fishing over this awkward ground, because I'm trying to see if there's a codle in there, which is going to pick up a bit of squid, a bit of herring. I was tipping it off with a bit of herring as well, and ideally you'd want lugworm, but it's a lot of aggravation at the minute. Digging your own lug or even ordering it's quite expensive. But you know, if you just want some whiting, I mean, you can use them as pike baits as well if you want to. But yeah, this is good conditions. There's an incoming tide on this picture. See here, I'm putting on a whole squid, trying to tempt that codling. And there's a few there, but whether you can, you know, your luck is in or what. But yeah, so it's quite a large bait, but you'll get a lot of whiting sort of just hook themselves on there. And as you can see, they're quite nice fish. And yeah, it's like you know, I don't think I'll be going back to sort of anytime soon to get them. It gets a little bit laborious just catching whiting all the time. But it's nice just to go now and again just to get some fresh air. But yeah, this is calamari I was using, box calamari, herring there. There's a whiting I've sort of decided to keep there. Might use the other one as a pike bait. And yeah, so that's just a sort of a surf casting rod. You can use a lightweight rod, and you can do all that. You could probably sort of get away with like a pike rod or something a bit easier to hold. But I find when you get snagged up in the bottom, because this is £50 braid, that's if you do get snagged in the bottom, you can walk to the left or to the right, and you can give it a good yank and break off the £12 line, and you usually just wind in your gear, and sometimes with a fish. So yeah, it's pretty enjoyable catching these whiting. But I wish it was like 20 years ago when there was Oh Christ, I can remember 10 years ago, I'd go down the beach and it's quite common for me to get like a £6 and a £5 in a session, you know, and then get a bit in early in the morning, you know, you get a nice bass as well. So I'd come home with like two decent cod and a bass. But the cod just ain't there at the minute. That's as simple as that. It's heartbreaking, really. I don't know if they'll come back because everything's getting warmer, you see. But yeah, this is a pot which got washed up in a storm, and I noticed there was 2 lobsters in it. And I was unaware that you get lobsters this neck of the woods. You get a lot more brown crabs, but they're obviously there. But yeah, so if you're new to fishing rough ground, they're just my tips on how I go about it. Don't get too carried away with distance and things like that. Drop it in short. And there's a little clip here at the end which just shows you a typical rig. You can pause that, and that's basically the rig I use. And I just buy, for my rotten bottom clip, I just invert a genie clip. And simple as that. There's nothing to it. It's a good effective way for bass as well. Hope you enjoyed the video.